do it, or just send it off somebody to get it done?
No, we just go get it here. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You dye it blue, the sample blue, and then there's blue circles that are dead cells, white circles that are living cells, and bacteria shows up as little rods. Those are the bad guys, yeah, and you just go through a sample and get a ratio of living to dead and how many bacteria cells. But that's where you ruin beer, is with bad yeast. So you got to be careful with scoping yeast, or even you could put clean yeast into a dirty yeast keg, and then you ruin your beer.
How long do you normally ferment your ales for?
Ales are anywhere from a week to 2.5 weeks. At 68 degrees, it goes a little quicker. Like the wheat ale, having less to ferment in it has been done in as little as 4 days in the past.
1 to 2.
Yeah.
Do you just use the primary fermenters, or do you use the secondary setup too?
The third tank there in the corner is a bright beer tank. After they sit in the fermenter, after they're done fermenting, the last few days of fermentation in the fermenters, we turn the temperature down to 35 degrees, crash cooling it. We add gelatin to it to allow anything in it to settle down to the bottom. Then when we transfer into the bright beer tank, it sits there for a couple of days at 35 degrees, where it settles out again, so that it's like a secondary fermentation, even though fermentation is done, but it helps for clarification. Then we move it to the cooler, where we carbonate it, so it's already been, it has to be below 40 degrees to carbonate it with CO2 the way we do it. We don't add any priming sugars or any of the home brewing tricks in carbonation. It's forced carbonation with CO2.
Do you produce any lagers?
We do. The FB 4 and 5 are lager tanks. Those are at 50 degrees. And we don't do nearly as many lagers as ales because they take a lot longer to ferment, so it slows production on that. But Oktoberfest, Bohemian Pilsner, Dark Bock, Pale Bock, those are our most oftenly brewed lagers.
How long do you lager them for? You said it took longer than a standard beer.
We're fermenting those for about 40 days average on the lager tanks.
And you said that was at what temperature again?
50.
Is that cold? Like how do you cool it?
I don't know if this
We
is about
have
YouTube.
it's glycol. It's called
Just link it to
glycol.
everybody.
Those
It's
tanks
easier.
back
It's
there
good.
have immersion coils that run through.
Surprised
The
nobody else
glycol
thought of
runs
it.
through. There's a big giant chiller out here that keeps our glycol nice and cold, and each fermenter has a thermostat on it. We can change. These newer ones have a jacket inside, and we can keep it at whatever temperature we need.